Bawal dito sa Canada ang discrimination. It's either gender or any type of racial discrimination or something along those lines is strictly prohibited. So, if I were you, kung sa Pilipinas ay involved ka sa mga ganyan, please do not bring it here dahil you will get in trouble lang po. One experience that I can tell you is that my son almost got hit by a car. So, ang ginawa namin ay Hi guys! Welcome back to this channel. My name is Rowena and in today's video, we are going to talk about the 10 things that you should never do while living in Canada. So just a bit of a context, I'm here in Canada living as a Canadian citizen and I've been here for almost 12 years now, and so I have a lot of experiences and knowledge when it comes to living in Canada, such as the do's and don'ts in Canada. Number one is that you should never drive in Canada under the influence of alcohol. So guys, this is the number one thing that I would tell you not to do. Kasi a lot of accidents happen in Canada while the driver is under the influence of alcohol. Even if it's just one bottle of beer or something like that, you should still never drink and drive. And another reason for that is that even though you're not gonna get into some sort of accident is pag nahuli ka ng police, you will get in trouble. Dahil dito sa Canada is zero tolerance when it comes to drinking and driving. The police officers will use a breath analyzer. Nag-a-analyze ito kung ilang percentage ng alcohol vapor ang meron sa iyong hininga once ikaw ay pinagamit ng breath analyzer na ito. So if the breath analyzer device will detect even if it's just a small percentage of alcohol in your breath, still ay matitikitan ka, or I don't know what the police officers will do in that certain kind of situation. What you can do is if you have a friend or a family member na hindi uminom, totally hindi uminom from that occasion that you were in, is siya yung magdadrive. And another option is tumawag ka ng taxi or Uber. It's best to be safe than sorry. And the last thing that I would suggest is to just walk. It's better na maglakad na lang tayo pag wala na tayong other options, no? Pag hindi ka rin pwede na magstay dyan sa pinuntahan mo where na nakainom ka, is maglakad ka na lang para wala kang consequence. Dito sa Saskatchewan guys, or dito sa mga highways, mga long highways, especially busy highways or like the 100-kilometer highways dyan, kung mag-travel ka dyan sa mga highways na yan and then you will see flowers on the roadside, that means an accident happened there. So that is very important na wag nating pairalin ng ating mga ego na mag-drive kahit na under influence of alcohol. And then I also knew this story na na-deport yung isang kababayan natin na temporary resident dahil he was driving under the influence of alcohol. So he was still under a working visa, but in fact lumabas na yung PR niya. So he went to the border para mag-exit, and then when he entered, para tatakan na yung passport niya or magiging officially permanent resident na siya. But iba yung pinagawa sa kanya, iba yung sinabi sa kanya, kasi instead of tatakan siya para ma-fully permanent resident na siya, ay inorderan siya ng deportation. So that's the number one thing that you should never do in Canada. Number two is you should never involve in hate speech or discriminatory activities in Canada. Dahil dito din ay pinahalagahan ang equality sa lahat ng mga naninirahan, lahat ng citizens, temporary or permanent dito sa Canada. You cannot do discriminatory activities or hate speech or anything like that and then think that you can get away with that. Dahil meron na mga incidents na ang mga taong na-involved dito sa mga activities na ito, discriminatory incidences, ay humarap ng legal consequences. Bawal dito sa Canada ang discrimination. It's either gender or any type of racial discrimination or something along those lines is strictly prohibited dahil haharap ka ng mga consequences pag ito ay yung ginawa. So if we just landed here from the Philippines, you should be also aware na pag ikaw ay naka-experience ng ganitong mga incidents, ay pwede ka ring magreklamo or you can also bring it up, especially if it involves something na na-risk na ang iyong safety. Dahil karapatan po kayo dito sa mga bagay na ito dito sa Canada. Number 3 is that you should never ignore the CRA. Ito ang agency ng gobyerno dito sa Canada na nagko-collect ng taxes. When it comes to money and things like that, taxes and everything, it's the CRA's job. Kaya lagi nyong naririnig ang CRA dito dahil alam naman natin na lagi tayo nagbabayad ng tax, no? So CRA is involved with those things. So when it comes to CRA, guys, ay every year nagbabayad tayo ng tax. Every single paycheck natin ay may tax na kinukuha sa ating paycheck. And during the first quarter of the year ay nagpa-file tayo ng ating tax return. And dyan na ibabase kung tayo ba ay entitled ng refund or we owe money to the government. And if you owe money to the government, to the CRA, ay kailangan nyo itong asikasuhin. If you cannot pay it full by the end of April, which is the deadline for everybody, is kailangan nyo mag-set up ng pre-authorized debit sa CRA. So I would suggest na mag-sign up kayo ng CRA account and then you can set up your pre-authorized debit there. If you wanna know more about taxes in Canada, there's a link popping up here somewhere in this video na pinag-uusapan ko talaga ang taxes in full, overview of taxes in Canada. Dahil ang CRA po ay nag-i-impose ng mga interest, fines, and possible imprisonment pag in-ignore nyo po ang mga requests ng CRA or if you involved in some type of fraudulent activities concerning taxes and the CRA. So it's best na you do your research, you do your own diligence, because for me as a citizen in Canada, that is one of the main duties that we should do as soon as we land in Canada para ma-avoid natin ang mga potential problems when it comes to our finances, especially taxes. And one big tip that I can give you when it comes to the CRA is never lie to them. Akala nyo na pag nagsinungaling kayo dito ay makaget away kayo maybe 1, 2, 3 years. Akala nyo wala na. Sometimes papatawan lang kayo ng interest para magbayad kayo, and sometimes you can get in more trouble. Hindi natin alam. I don't know what they will do. I don't know what their consequences na pinapataw nila sa mga lies na ito. If I were you, I would not do that. Dahil alam naman natin na ang CRA ay powerful talaga and they can do these sorts of things para ma-maintain ang kanilang integrity. So, kung bago kayo dito sa Canada, I would highly suggest na never lie in anything that you do when it comes to filing your taxes. Number 4 is do not be involved in any type of financial frauds or anything like that. Even if it's not financial, but the most common as we know it is the financial frauds. Dahil sa atin, diba, sa Philippines is maraming incidences na nakuhuli ang mga leader ng mga fraudulent scams na ito, financial scams, whatever. Please do not be involved into these kinds of fraudulent scams. Dahil madali po itong ma-detect ng authorities, and once they do, hindi ka pa nila agad-agad na mahuhuli, but they will investigate. Dahil pag ikaw ay in-approach na, they're ready. You do not think na hindi nila alam. So, if I were you, kung sa Pilipinas ay involved ka sa mga ganyan, please do not bring it here dahil you will get in trouble lang po. Number 5 is, please never do trespassing in Canada. People here in general doesn't like trespassers. If your reason is very valid na wala ka namang intensyon na pumunta talaga sa bakuran nila, na talagang, for example, yung aso mo ay napunta dun sa bakuran nila and you just have to get him or her, then you can ask permission or anything like that na pwede mo siyang kunin. So, if you're new here and maglakad-lakad ka and you think, oh, may magandang puno doon na may fruit na maganyan, and then you just go inside their property para mag-picture or anything like that, wag niyo pong gawin yon dahil ayaw na ayaw po ng mga Canadians ang ganyan na mga behaviors. And on top of that is ayaw din nila na ikaw ay walang sense of personal space. Na pag nagsasalita ka sa kanila ay masyado kang malapit. Ayaw na ayaw po ng mga Canadians ang ganon dahil they really value their personal space. So, kung tayo mga Pilipino ay mahilig tayo na mag-whisper out of nowhere na ganyan-ganyan, sa kanila po ay siguro magagawa mo lang yan kung you guys are really very close and you think that she or he will not be annoyed. I hope this video helped you in some way na ganito pala, they value their personal space. So I will keep in mind na pag may kinakausap ako ay hindi ako masyadong lalapit sa kanya. Number 6 is you should never hunt or fish kung wala kayong license. Hunting and fishing ay may license po dito sa Canada. Canada. Unlike in the Philippines, sa atin wala namang ganitong mga regulations, diba? But here, always remember na kapag kayo ay nag-hunt or namingwit, nag-fish during the summer, ay you need license. And even if you have a license, guys, meron pa ring mga rules na bawal mong kunin ang mga maliliit na isda. If you accidentally caught a smaller fish, that you have to put it back. And also, you cannot get too many fish at a time. Kasi may naririnig na ako na may nagpa-fine ng ganito, ganyan. Kasi masyadong marami ang nabibingwit nila and then they didn't put it back. And also, please do not be involved in any activities na you are endangering animals here in Canada dahil bawal din yan. They have environmental officers too na hindi mo alam na they're camouflaging somewhere else in the bushes or in the woods. So, be careful when you fish or when you hunt in Canada. Hunting is more strict in my opinion dahil it involves some sort of firearms na pang-hunt mo, diba, sa gear and stuff. And if you'd like to know more about hunting in Canada, is mag-research po kayo. Number 7 is littering is strictly not allowed here in Canada. If you ever just throw a garbage somewhere and then someone saw you, it's normal na talagang i-approach ka ng citizen na yan, ng tao na yan, and they will bring it up to you. Hey, why are you littering? You don't want to be that person, guys, so I would highly suggest huwag niyo pong gawin ito. There are certain bins, a lot of bins anywhere in Canada, especially in parks, like outside, like in the streets or anywhere, mga corners, ganyan. Meron po yung mga basurahan. So, kung hindi ka man makakita ng basurahan, I just keep it until may madaanan ka na basurahan. And speaking of garbages, guys, pag kayo din po ay, for example, mag-move out and then you have furnitures or like some type of things from your home na ayaw mo nang dalhin to your new place, is may mga certain landfills din na pwede nyong paglagyan ng basura na ito. Magtanong-tanong po kayo sa inyong local area kung paano nyo ibasura ang mga big items just like furniture. Kasi dito sa city namin ay we have a landfill and then pupunta ka doon. I think you will pay a small amount pag pumasok kayo doon and then you will dump your garbages there. There are certain days na free siya, but in general is you cannot just leave your furnitures, your things na ayaw mo na dyan sa labas ng bahay nyo or somewhere in the street or anywhere around your house. You cannot do that. Kailangan nyo talaga siyang ilagay sa tamang bins if you are in an apartment. We've lived in an apartment before, so I know na may mga malalaking bin talaga sa labas ng mga apartments where the tenants can just go and dump their smaller furnitures. Kung hindi siya magkasya, guys, you cannot just put it beside the bin. Kailangan mo talagang maghanap ng paraan kung paano mo siya ibasura or ibigay to someone kung may nangangailangan in case it's still usable. Number 8 is please do not be involved in activities like yung mga away-away, yung mga nagte-threat kayo. Kasi alam natin na in the Philippines, we can just do that to our neighbor and do not think of a consequence kasi most of the time, wala naman talagang nangyayaring consequence. But here, someone who you threaten can go to the police and then file a case or anything like that against you. You cannot just threat someone na ganito kita. You cannot just show someone a sharp object or a fake firearm of some sort and then threat them, or even if you don't say anything, as long as that person felt na you are threatening them, they can go to the police and file a statement and the police will let them know what they can do. You maybe will get in trouble dahil ang mga police po dito ay ini-entertain talaga ang ganyang mga klase ng incidents. One experience that I can tell you is that my son almost got hit by a car. So, ang ginawa namin ay napunta kami sa police para mag-file ng statement and then the police showed us options but we chose just for them to talk to that person para din next time hindi na siya mangyari. And then sa isip namin ay baka masave pa namin siya for future consequence in case gagawin pa niya yun and then next time is makakasagasa na talaga siya. Number 9 is in relation to the previous one that I talked about when it comes to firearms and things like that. Strict po ang mga regulations dito sa Canada tungkol sa mga bagay na yan. So, if you are a man or anybody na gusto mag-possess ng firearm dito sa Canada is you have to research what laws you need to abide and follow. Dahil meron po yung serious consequences pag kayo po ay hindi sumunod and nahuli po kayo ng mga police. I would suggest na kayo ay talagang lumapit sa someone na expert or anything like that na may alam talaga sa mga bagay na ito, so you will not make a mistake. Number 10 is that you should never ignore the rights and freedoms of other citizens or residents like you in Canada. Dahil dito po sa Canada, as I've mentioned earlier, human rights is a big thing. You should respect the rights of others. So if, for example, you are a victim of like harassment or anything like that from a certain individual or even an organization, pwede po kayo magreklamo. As I've said, you have the right para i-bring up tong nangyari sa iyo. Para naman, if something happened to you, na especially if na-risk yung safety mo, ay magkakaroon ka ng peace of mind pag ilalapit mo ito sa authorities. So, do not think na someone will just do something to you and then sabihin mo,
ay, okay lang yun, kakalimutan ko na lang yun, wala, parang wala.
You should be aware na may rights ka po dito sa Canada. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Those are the 10 things that you should be aware to never do in Canada. If you find this video helpful, please do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you next time. Bye bye.